goodness.
And what a graveyard deck.
When things fly in your eye when you're on air, it's terrible.
It is.
Come on.
I mean, this is a real graveyard deck here. We got Ghoul Steed.
Okay.
You are going. You are going. You are not picky if you have that card in your deck.
Here is Gnarlwood Triad. If you're Ghoul Steeding, you are a graveyard deck.
Yes.
A Prairie Stream, Inspiring Vantage, and now it's a Selfless Spirit here from Jeff. #1 on the SCG Tour Player of the Year leaderboard. Come on in here, Gnarlwood Triad.
So you got the deck list in front of you. What's going on with the red cards here? Because Jeff played a lot of blue-white flash last standard format. What has compelled him to move into red?
I've got Harness, Lightning, and Creature lands mostly.
Okay.
Yeah. Not a lot. Maybe a little bit of stuff in the board. Yeah, he's basically blue-white. Here's a Noose Constrictor. See how his deck lines up against that. One thing that Jeff's always been a really big fan of is creature lands.
Yes. He likes decks with a high land count, some expensive cards, and then things to do with his mana.
Yes.
It's been a recurring element of his deck building.
Noose Constrictor, he could just dump the whole hand right now and get back the ghouls.
Well, you want to play the third land so you get the Ghoul Steed back, and you need to keep one card back in the chamber so you can get it back.
Okay. You've played a lot with Ghoul Steed, haven't you?
Mostly against.
Okay. There it is. Look at that little horsey. Right out of The Walking Dead.
Yeah. This card says, I'll take anything. Any graveyard payout, I don't care what it is.
Here's a stasis there. Now I kind of want to see Ghoul Steed get discarded.
I mean, this is the time. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we're going to read that? You don't know what that does, Jeff?
I mean, when Jeff is reading your cards.
That's true. That's true.
You have gone deep.
Jeff can appreciate the brewing. He can appreciate the brewing. Can he beat a 4/4 from the graveyard? We're going to find out. It's almost that time.
Yeah, he's only got so many Needle Spires. You run out at a certain point. Hovis doesn't run out of draw steps.
There is the hub. Jeff would like an energy. Pass that turn back. We'll go Ryan's way. Discard. Ghoul Steed. It is back and better than ever.
With the Scrap Heap Scavenger.
Oh,
man.
Yep, another flash card. Let's see what Ryan's got next. Vessel. Hey, Hissing Quagmire. He'll pass the turn back over to Jeff Hoogland, who will draw. Looks like a Port Town. There's Needle Spires.
I know we've talked about this.
This is definitely Port Town related.
No, it is not.
Okay.
I can't get over how much I love week 1 of Standard.
Yeah, it's really good.
As Hovis finds yet another Ghoul Steed. Yep. Now he's hit the inflection point of, does he hard cast the one that he has? Or does he leave it? Does he save it for later?
He's going to put the one in the graveyard.
Yeah, he's storing some nuts for winter.
Yeah. Noose Constrictor is the card Ryan opted to take off of the Vessel of Nascency activation. Also got a Scrap Heap Scrounger and then a land in hand. There is the Scrounger. I'm a little surprised we're reading this one.
Yeah, this card you would expect to show up.
Oh, yeah.
If you had to make a list of 20 cards to show up, this would make the cut, I think.
Jeff's going to draw some cards here. The Glimmer of Genius. Allow him to scry 2, draw 2, and then add 2 energy. He's up to 3 energy now. Time for Jeff to untap, excuse me, and now he'll draw. Picked up a copy of Harness Lightning. There's Port Town, reveal Prairie Stream. We'll pass the turn back. Oh, let's get back a Scrounger. There goes an Gnarlwood Triad. We'll head back over to Ryan. He'll take a draw step. Swamp is what he found. Here come the Scroungers. I think we're going to see an Archangel Avacyn, yes. Trigger, block, goodbye Scrounger, take 3. Follow up, the Noose is loose.
I'm a little surprised there because to me, Hovis' attack there indicates that he had some sort of removal spell. I would have tested the water just by activating Needle Spire and blocking. That swallows up the same way, and it's a lot safer if Hovis has something like Grasp of Darkness.
Sure.
Which his attack would kind of represent to me.
Yeah, it's reasonable. It's reasonable.
If his attack is just, I don't care, I'm going to get it out of my graveyard next turn anyway for free, then you still get to blow him out with Avacyn the following turn, but it's a lot safer if his attack is because he has a removal spell.
Oh, look at this. And Jeff getting aggressive with Needle Spires. Here they come. Arcane Avacyn and Needle Spire coming in. Just says, let's try to get this game over with, shall we? Looks like Hovis is going to take the 8. Get back the Scrap Heap Scrounger. Ghoulsteed has been exiled. It no longer can come back. You going to be okay?
That's disappointing. I mean, it matches up way better against Needle Spire and Archangel Avacyn than these 3/2s do.
It's true. Vessel Nascency. And we'll crack it. Top handful of cards. Haunted Dead among them. Prize Amalgam 2. That's the milling artifact. That's exactly what Jeff's looking at. He's looking at a
Perpetual Timepiece?
Yes, thank you very much. Put the top 2 cards of your library into your graveyard, and you can exile that to shuffle any number of target cards from your graveyard into your library. Do the loop. Gonna get back a Haunted Dead.
Yeah, this alongside Ghoulsteed are exhibits A and B of I just don't care. Anything will do.
Just put stuff in the graveyard. Yeah. There's a swamp. And all right, everybody coming in. I guess you can just get the Scroungers back. They're free rolls.
Yeah, that's a way of describing it.
Here's a block. All right, Noose Constructor down. Takes 6. Jeff goes out of 9. He's untapping now.
But remember, Jeff is still pretty well situated here, as he has his Needle Spires on defense, plus an Archangel Avacyn he can attack with, plus a removal spell in hand.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like he's got pretty firm control over the damage race, but if you're in Jeff's spot, you literally don't know what's about to happen. So
yeah, anything could happen here. Haunted Dead, gonna come back. Discard 2 cards. There'll be a Prize Amalgam trigger. Block with the Spirit, pass the turn back. Amalgam's going to come back.
This is the route for Hovis to try to get through all this stuff, is just go super wide.
Yep.
Hoogland is at 9.
I mean, it's not quite Dredge in Modern or Legacy, but he is being somewhat relentless here. Returning all these creatures a bunch. Doesn't mind if they're dying. And hey, he is also 6-0, by the way. Looks like he's going to fire up the Quagmire, perhaps?
Not well aligned against the Needle Spire.
True.
Is an issue. But a lot of his threats aren't. So maybe at a certain point, if you're going wide, then you know what's one thing against the other.
Yeah, got to go all the way.
Yeah.
Needle Spire has been activated. Going to block Prized Amalgam. And now we'll have Archangel Avacyn. Block there. What this does, I think this causes the Needle Spire to bite the dust, which should trigger the Archangel Avacyn. And it will. So those creatures will bite the dust. Hovis will fall down to 9. Jeff will draw. Pick up a Prairie Stream. That'll enter the battlefield untapped, given the 2 basics that are out there, an island and plains. Is Jeff comfortable attacking with this Archangel, however?
Against 1 card in hand, it feels pretty safe. And I think he has another Avacyn in hand. Looks like he's waiting.
Gonna get back the Scrounger. Now Amalgam will come back.
It is impressive, though. Hovis' deck can keep going.
Yeah, it can.
I don't know if it's going to be quite enough here.
Narwood Dryad the draw. Fire up the Quagmire. It's going to try to finish things off this way. Here's Archangel Avacyn. And I actually think it's the Harness Lightning that's actually going to do Ryan in.
Yep.
It's a combination of both things.
Hovis was just a piece short here.
Yeah. And then Jeff having a spot removal spell is the big deal. Yep, there's Harness Lightning.
And this is really safe too because he does it on resolution to decide how much energy he wants to
Yeah.
spend, so even a pump spell doesn't really cover him.
Yeah, and that's going to do it. So Jeff Hogan's going to win game number 1 here over Ryan Hovis. Jeskai Flash up a game over this kind of unique green-black graveyard deck. I'm sure many did not expect to see at the 6-0 table here. But like you said, just felt like one piece short.
Yeah, he hung around in a game where it looked like he had nothing going, and Hoogland was kind of coasting to victory. And again, just one piece short of maybe squeezing that out.
All right, well, let's take a look at the sideboards here for each player. We'll start with Ryan Hovis, who has 3 Collective Brutality, 2 To the Slaughter, 3 Distended Mindbender, 2 Ishkanograph Widow, a Call of the Bloodline, 2 Liliana Last Hope, and then 2 Sinister Concoction.
And not a whole lot that feels great to me for this kind of matchup. The 3 copies of Distended Mindbender seem very powerful, and I can get behind some amount of the To the Slaughter, Sinister Concoction stuff as well, as a way to fight off some of Hoagland's bigger threats. The 2 Lilianas also just might be well situated for a long game against a control deck.
For Jeff, 2 Blessed Alliance, 3 Ceremonious Rejection, 2 Fumigate, 2 Galvanic Bombardment, 2 Jason Rattler Secrets, 2 Negate, and then 2 Summary Dismissal.
I almost just want to present same 60 here.
Don't
Very
wanna change
close
too
to
much.
it. None of these cards are really that well situated for this kind of fight.
There's no real graveyard hate here, that's for sure.
And the negates are okay, I suppose. But as you see, once Hovis gets the ball rolling, almost everything is just working out of his graveyard. He doesn't need to cast very much beyond that point.
Well, those are the options here for both players. They'll sideboard and shuffle up. We'll get ready to watch the player who's leading the SCG Tour Player of the Year race in just a moment, in Jeff Hogan. But let's talk about the Season 3 schedule here on the SCG Tour, where we were in New Jersey, August 19th through the 21st. That was, wow, over a month ago. That's crazy. We watched Liam Lonergan win that tournament. That's why he's got that elf token. We'll see him at the Players' Championship. Richmond was a couple weeks later. That's where Ted Felicetti won that tournament with Bant Company, kind of the last hurrah for that deck. Then we did Orlando 2 weeks ago, and we watched Bradley Carpenter win with Infect. Now we're here in Indianapolis watching some awesome Kaladesh release weekend action. We take a week off next week for Grand Prix Atlanta, hosted by Star City Games. And then we got regionals.
Regional championships, and you can head over to go.starcitygames.com/regionals to find the regional championship closest to you. Then Milwaukee for Modern towards the end of October. Then Legacy, Modern, and Standard throughout the month of November in Baltimore, Columbus, and Knoxville. And then the Season 3 Invitational in Atlanta, Georgia, December 2nd through the 4th, Standard and Modern as the Invitational formats.
Now, of course, we've got playmats to talk about. So if you do play in a Standard Opener Classic like our players here, you'll get the Dark Salvation playmat, free and exclusive for entering. Same thing can be said for our Modern players, but it'll be Steel Overseer for them. And then, for our Legacy folks, you can be like Joe Lissette. You can spend the Sensei's Divining Top. Again, these playmats are free and exclusive if you do enter into a corresponding Season 3 Open or Classic. Game number 2 about to be underway here between Jeff Hogan and Ryan Hovis. Jeff going to get in his one pile shuffle here.
Yep, make it count.
That's just his one. And while he does so, we'll talk about our Player of the Year potentially here in Jeff Hogan, a 25-year-old from Bloomington, Illinois, not Bloomington, Indiana, with 15 open top 8s, 1 invitational top 8 as well. He's a stay-at-home dad, which many know, along with 2 awesome sons and a pretty awesome wife as well. They were on vacation during Orlando weekend, checking, I believe, out Hawaii, if memory does serve. So Jeff was not there. Tom Ross was, and Tom's top 8 brought him very close to Jeff in the Player of the Year race. So we got a real thing going here. For whoever does win that, going to get 3 buys and all opens next year.
Yeah, 5 points separating the two, and not a whole lot of events. As you saw, the 4 opens, the Invitational and Regional weekend, 2 weekends from now. So 5 points is very little of a lead, but not a whole lot of events left, so the significance of these events get magnified.
And Jeff going to Jeskai Flash this week and reminds you a lot of what he started off the Eldritch Moon Standard season with when he was playing kind of that Spirits deck that he did have some success with. We still see the Archangel Avacens, the Rattle Chains, the Selfless Spirits, the Spell Quellers, and even has a copy of Torrential Gearhulk as well. But he's looking to always play on the opponent's turn this weekend. The Red Splash, as we did mention, not a lot for it. Harness Lightning, because it looks like he does have plenty of energy to spare. He also gets those creature lands in Wandering Fumarole and Needle Spires. And I think that's the real draw to what his deck is. But he'll be able to explain it a little bit later today because we did do a deck tech with him. He was with Nick Miller in the sideboard. That'll be something for everybody to check out, both during the live broadcast and on the coverage page. For now, Hovis will be on the play. We'll see if these players are going to keep their opening hands. Looks like they will, and we're underway here in game number 2. It's a Hissing Quagmire for Ryan to start. For Jeff, a Prairie Stream. We head back Ryan's way.
Another card to look out here for in Hovis' deck. which may have stolen him. Game number 1 if he was able to find it. 3 copies of Decimator of the Provinces.
Oh, the piggy.
Yeah.
Okay. Haven't seen much of that one in Constructed, that's for sure. Grapple with the Past is going to get back a Scrap Heap Scrounger.
Occasionally saw a little bit as a potential breaker in the Bent Company mirror matches when the boards got clogged, but otherwise, very little of it so far in Standard.
Selfless Spirit there for Jeff. It's a Scrounger here for Ryan. We'll head back Jeff's way. He will draw a card, play a Wandering Fumarole, and simply pass the turn back. Looks like he's looking to make a trade here with Ryan. Ryan going to come in, and Jeff will very quickly block. Let's see what the follow-up is here for Hovis. He'll just play a Forest and pass the turn back. Jeff with a draw of Spell Queller. He'll pass. This is exactly where Jeff wants the game to be. Here's a grapple with the past, maybe. All right. Jeff says I'll Spell Queller that.
Love it.
It's a card, first time we've seen it this weekend, outside of being in Todd Stevens' hand a little bit. A card that got a lot of press when it was released, but not getting a lot of press now. There's Gnarlwood Dryad.
That's week 1. Takes some people some time to find the best Spell Queller shell.
Here comes Spell Queller with authority. Jeff will play a Needle Spires, pass the turn back over to Hovis. Hovis will draw.
Just loves this sort of game. Just get out in front a little bit on the table.
That's a very sinister concoction. We got a reader, boys. Ryan, try not to crack a smile.
I believe, the 3rd card now that Jeff has had to read.
Yeah. So you pay a life. You put the top card of your library into your graveyard. You discard a card, sacrifice Sinister Concoction, destroy target creature. An old family recipe with an old family grudge. Ryan will follow up with a Sinister Concoction, I believe. He'll pay all of the costs, Amalgam, all that good stuff. Bye-bye Spell Queller. Cast Grapple with the Past. Yes. What to get back now? Gonna get back a Swamp. Grapple done resolving. Play a land for the turn. And now here is Glimmer of Genius. Jeff will get 2 energy. He'll scry 2. He'll peel 2. And then he'll be on his way. You did say big upgrade over Inspiration. I agree.
Yeah.
And to note, the artist on that card, Tommy Arnold, someone who I went to college with.
Very cool.
Yeah.
It's great.
Drew that and the Masterpiece Static Orb.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's very cool. Congratulations.
Scrappy Scrounger coming on back. Goodbye, Gnarlwood Dryad. Now Price of Alchemy comes back along with it. Hovis will untap. Oh, the Ghoulsteed's down there.
Yep. Is that the noise? That's pretty good.
Ross Merriam and Todd Anderson much better at making horse noises. They've demonstrated this in their Versus videos.
In reference to which horse?
Not even so much a horse, just Ross making the noise.
Okay.
Not sure why. A lot of questions. Don't have very many answers.
Very few answers.
Yeah.
It's often how it goes.
Yeah.
Really appreciate Hovis' deck's ability to just alpha strike every single turn, because it kind of doesn't matter whatever dies.
He's able to, it feels like just in a general sense, get things back a bunch.
Right.
Scrounger's not hard to bring back. Old Ghoulsteed, Haunted Dead, Amalgam. Just keep the rebuys coming. Looks like he's just going to attack with the Scrounger.
Showing a lot of respect for Archangel Avacyn right there.
Yeah, there's also the Wandering Fumarole out there and the Needle Spires.
Well, Wandering Fumarole is quite a bit of a risk from Jeff's side to get involved in the combat.
Very true. Hovis, he's just going to pass, and Jeff is going to Glimmer yet again. See, this is the difficult thing about playing against a flash deck, of course. You just don't know.
Right, and every turn that you hang back, not attacking out of respect for Archangel Avacyn, and Jeff gets to resolve a card drawing spell here and smooth out his hand a little bit. These are the types of moments that allow Jeff to assemble the hand that can play over the top of what you've done on the battlefield.
There's Galvanic Bombardment. Dryad down. Let's go back over to Jeff. Prairie Stream just passed the turn back. Only one basic out there, just a basic mountain there. Oh yeah,
There we go.
ride the horse. Love it.
Just doesn't matter. I'll take them all.
Discarding Price Amalgam in there. Jeff with a little bit to think about. There's the Ghoul Seed Zombie Horse.
Gotta say, counter spells don't seem great against Hovis' deck.
Good read. Well, here's a summary dismissal. I guess in a roundabout way, this takes care of this.
It's a stifle, right? If you can.
Exile all other spells and counter all abilities.
It'll have to do.
Yep, horse down. Ryan will draw. Quagmire going to get fired up. And that's a Harness Lightning. We'll take care of the Quagmire. Jeff's going to take 6.
And Quagmire, one of the very few things that Hoogland can answer in a permanent sense.
Uh-huh. There's Gnarlwood Dryad. Pass. Jeff will draw Archangel Avacyn. Curious to see if it's time to Fumigate or not. Yes. He'll gain 3 life. Go to 11. That's not a permanent solution to these problems.
But he might be able to pivot and start going on the offensive here with his Archangel Avacyns. And if Hovis is still basically in one spell a turn territory, Hoogland might be able to erase that.
Jeff will play a hub. 6 energy now. Hovis going to get back. Scrap Heap Scrounger. Amalgam triggers. That's all good. Time to untap. And draw. Everybody's coming in. There's Archangel Avacyn. Not a lot that Ryan can do about this particular card in the matchup.
No, but you can see that Hovis' strategy is sort of ignore and go around and go wide. I mean, he's doesn't answer it directly very well.
Jeff will play Stasis Snare on Scrap Heap Scrounger. Archangel Avacyn is, of course, indestructible, so it'll take care of a Prize Amalgam. One will come through. Jeff will fall down to 8. Hovis will get an energy, and now here's Ishkana.
Very nice.
Does it have Delirium? If not, not as nice.
Never mind. I
Okay.
retract my nice
Nope.
statement.
Still nice. No Delirium. Maybe.
Good.
Counting.
Yeah, he's got a vessel, a land, a creature. Yeah, he's good.
Okay, we got Delirium. All right, it's kind of dead. Well, all that, and it's gone now. New red-white fast land. In comes Archangel. Spider will block. Pass. Over to Hovis. My question is, how does he get through the 4-4?
He has to go wide.
Yeah.
Same deal as before.
Swarm it with zombies.
I don't know. Hoagland's low on cards, and he's at 8. And Hovis almost got the job done last game in circumstances that looked much more bleak than this. And he's got a lot of life to work with, too, under very little pressure.
So it's weird. I agree with you that Jeff is low on cards, but he is and he isn't. And the reason I say that is because those creature lands, those will still count.
Well, they are not great or at least they're on diminishing returns as it pertains to Hovis' ability to go wide. Yes, he has a lot of creature lands, but he can kind of only activate 1 or maybe 2 a turn. And if Hovis is able to just get a ton of creatures in play and going around, the additional creature lands he has access to don't matter a whole lot for Jeff.
Well, that's what he's trying to do. He's got another Ishkana. And that means 3 more spiders thanks to Delirium. And now Jeff will untap. He'll draw a card. Inspiring Vantage.
Also, something to keep in mind, Hovis is 2 land drops away from just being able to activate Ishkana and win the game that way.
True.
Not like Hoogland's in much of a position to attack here.
But have you waited in Ghoulsteed?
Have you considered the Ghoulsteed?
Jeff will just pass. No good attacks to be had.
Although, as the board currently looks, I don't think it's that great for Hovis to be attacking either.
Bit of a standoff.
Because then Jeff can start activating some of his creature lands and swallow some things up. And Hovis really doesn't want to lose the Ishkana itself inside of combat.
Well, I think he might disagree with you.
Okay.
Yep. We'll see if this is the proper amount of aggression or a little overly aggressive. Fire the Needle Spires. Block a spider. Block big spider. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, there's the block. Okay, sure. And Jeff's Needle Spires will die, which means that Evison's going to transform. Hissing Quagmire.
It's land number 6. I mean, with land number 6, it makes the attack a lot more attractive.
More attractive or less attractive?
No, that's fair. He loses all the spiders now.
Yeah.
Now it's kind of several turns away from being able to do very much.
Uh-huh. Looks like Ryan's got something going on here.
Yeah, he does.
The Steed.
Yeah, he's still on the just go wide plane, it looks like.
Yep. With 2 Price Amalgam triggers.
And he's going to have 4 lethal creatures.
Yeah, that is, he's going to get back 2 Price Amalgams and the ability to get back a Scrounger. That is great. All right.
So there are a lot of little things to be keeping track of.
Yeah,
here.
it's getting a little relentless in the graveyard.
This is cool, though. I mean, Hovis has, there have been circumstances where it looks like, okay, he kind of can't get past this one blocker, or the game has slowed down and it's not clear what his recourse is. And Hovis' deck's ability to just like keep grinding, keep reassembling, keep getting back a wave of stuff, and just sending in these mediocre alpha strikes over and over again that look kind of bad, but as long as you can reassemble without doing very much, then you can cross the finish line that way.
And the thing to note about what Hovis is doing, I mean, no one's really coming to the table prepared for this sort of thing. There's not going to be graveyard hate in this tournament.
Yep.
You know? This is very interesting. Again, not a lot of flash there, not a lot of substance, just I'm going to keep bringing back my creatures and keep attacking you, and hopefully you will die.
And Hovis has played a very sharp set of games so far, too.
Yeah, I think so.
I think he knows this deck quite well, as that alpha strike was really predicated on feeling, all right, I'm going to get Jeff to 3. I'm going to have 4 creatures in play that each deal 3. He probably isn't going to be able to answer all of them. So even though I could try to sit on my heels here and just get to land number 7 and Ishkana him out of the game, it's just very likely he can't handle the last wave, and that's where the game broke.
Well, these players are going to shuffle up here for game number 3. You see Jeff taking his pile shuffle, Ryan doing a little side shuffle here. So we'll be watching game number 3 here in just a moment. We can talk very quickly about the players that are qualified for the Players' Championship. Jeff Hoogland is among them. You see in Season 1, the top left-hand corner, Max McVitie was our Columbus Invitational Champion. Then you, of course, have Jeff, our Season Points Champion, Andrew Tenjum, and Jerry Thompson. Then, for our New Jersey Invitational, Season 2, you had Liam Lonergan win that tournament. Tom Ross, Andrew Jessup, and Kevin Jones qualified on points. And then Jim Davis is your defending champion. We got to figure out who the other 7 are going to be. That's what Season 3 is for here on the SCG Tour. December 17th and the 18th, StarCityGames.com Players Championship for the Star City Game Center in Roanoke, Virginia. 16 competitors, $50,000 on the line. See if Jim can go a little back-to-back action.
Be quite the accomplishment.
I'll tell you what.
Not trivial.
Both players going to check out the sideboards once again. Looks like they're clear for takeoff. They'll shuffle each other's deck very quickly. And then don't worry, Patrick. Magic will be underway.
It feels like just in general, decks are getting presented a lot faster. Sideboarding is happening a lot faster. It's like this culturally accepted method of wasting time has finally been banned. And now the rounds just turn over a little bit faster.
I am going to pile shuffle against you so much the next time we play, assuming you ever play in a sanctioned tournament again.
Yeah, that's one thing. And then also, you can only do it the one time, because that's what the rule is.
I'm going to pile shuffle in your area, a little encroachment, all of it. I'm unstoppable. Looks like Ryan going to take a mulligan very quickly here.
This is also a very declarative list here from Hovis.
A lot of fours.
Fours, a couple threes, one Clutch of Brutality, three ofs. The Decimator of Provinces, diminishing returns there. Also a card you have to naturally draw. Ghoul Steed, second one's not doing a whole lot for you. And Perpetual Timepiece, second one also not doing a whole lot for you.
How many Ghoul Steeds we got?
3.
Oof. Love it.
You definitely, probably, maybe want the first one. And then the second one's not very good.
Like a 4/4 might just stand tall on some battlefields.
Yep.
Have you considered that?
Yeah, if we were playing Magic in 1998 or whatever, that would be a thing. It's a little different now.
Big zombie horse. Can you deal with that? Can you handle this? Little scry here from Ryan. We're underway. Jeff going to sacrifice an Evolving Wilds. A Blooming Marsh and a Vessel of Nascency. Ryan trying to figure out how he wants to put his stuff. He'll pass the turn back.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Jeff initiated some encroachment level play there. Ryan just responding in time.
Inspiring Vantage. We'll head back over to Ryan Hovis. A Forest here for Ryan. He'll simply pass the turn back over to Jeff. Jeff will draw. Picked up a copy of Selfless Spirit. There's a Port Town. Reveal an island. Is it time to go to the Selfless Spirit? The answer is no. Sacrifice the Vessel here, will Ryan. That'll resolve. 4 cards, Haunted Dead among them, 2 Vessels, and a Gnarlwood Dryad, I believe. Ryan will be choosing from. He'll take the Vessel. Rest will go to the graveyard. Good place for Haunted Dead. Hovis will draw. Ether Hub. Energy counter. And Vessel.
Counter it.
Yep, Quellered. You got it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Countered.
You asked for it, you got it. Jeff didn't want that resolve, and Patrick really didn't want that to resolve.
Yeah, get that spell core action going.
Haunted Dead. Discarding at least 1 prize amalgam. Looks like a scrounger, too. An interesting little deck. I'm liking what I'm seeing here.
There is something very powerful going on here.
Yeah. That you don't typically see in Standard.
Yeah, a lot of the traditional mechanisms of, what does card advantage and removal and good and bad trades in combat look like, they don't really apply here, as we've seen in these couple of games, because Hovis is just reassembling and pushing again so rapidly that he can just keep going.
Ryan will get the prize amalgam back in a bit. Jeff with a Selfless Spirit. He has an Evolving Wilds. Curious to see if he's going to do any attacking. It looks like the answer is no. Amalgam's going to come back. Jeff's going to sacrifice the Evolving Wilds. He'll get a basic Plains, shortcut a little bit here. Ryan will draw for his turn. The Vessel of Nascency. Going to use the energy. Ooh.
Oh.
Distended Mindbender.
Okay.
Only going to get 1.
Still excellent here.
Yep. 2 Archangel Avacins, a summary dismissal, and an island. You think Avacyn probably?
With the battlefield that Hoogland's building up here, I just don't know what the second one is really worth.
Okay.
If he had 1 Avacyn in hand, then it's probably pretty easy to take. Against 2, I think Hovis probably just wants to play through. And there is something to be said for, if he has a free pass to just cast his stuff, he's been able to overpower Avacyn without too much difficulty.
Yeah, kind of in both games, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. 5th land there from Jeff. Ryan knows about not 1 but 2 copies of Archangel Avacyn. Amalgam, come on in. All right. There we have block. Of course, Archangel Avacyn's indestructible trigger.
Hovis just forcing that issue right there. Now remember, Hoogland does have the opportunity to flip over this Avacyn at a moment's notice because of the Selfless Spirit.
Noose Constrictor, Vessel, Hissing Quagmire pass. Jeff will draw. Spiring Vantage, I believe. Actually, Needle Spires, pardon me. How does he work his way through this?
I mean, that's one of the tricky parts about playing in a spot like this is you don't necessarily know what your deck's path to victory is or what you should be valuing in the matchup.
Well, when all else fails, attack.
I imagine if Hoogland's doing this attack, it's because he wants to flip over the Avacyn anyway, and he's committed to sacrificing the Selfless Spirit wherever Hovis happens to block. That, I think, is Hoogland's route in the matchup from what I've watched so far. Definitely don't know everything going on here for sure, but I think he has to kind of turn the game into a damage race because when things have dragged out, Hovis has able to been just, his ability to grind and reassemble is just too good.
Noose Constrictor will block the Spell Queller and the token is going to block the Selfless Spirit. So now we're going to see a transformation. Damage is dealt. Creatures will die. And now we've got Distended Mindbender against Archangel Avacyn. Or excuse me, Avacyn transformed.
But Hoogland does have free reign in the air for the time being and a pretty fast clock all told. And I like him trying to pursue that path in the matchup.
I think the air is where he's a little bit better.
He's good in the air, and when he's trying to hang back and wait and play the control game, Hovis has been able to he can play that game all day long.
Sinister Concoction going to go to the grip from the Vessel of Nascency. How truly adorable. But might actually be kind of good.
Well, Hoogland does have that kind of covered for the time being with the second copy of Avacyn, but it does make committing that to the table a lot more complicated. A lot easier for Hovis to hold up 1 mana than it is for Hoogland to hold up 5.
There's the Sinister Concoction. I like an attack, yeah. I'm totally cool if you want to make this exchange.
Yep. And Hoogland's not going to bite on that. And I think the logic here is just, I'm winning this damage race. He has to move first with the Sinister Concoction. When that happens, I have the Avacyn as backup, but until that happens, I'm not touching it.
Jeff will present 6 points of damage. We'll see if Ryan wants to make a move here. Again, Sinister Concoction playing a role in things right now, but Jeff has Archangel Avacyn, but Ryan knows that. So it's a game of cat and mouse now. All right, here's a concoction. Top card is Mindbender, discard Blooming Marsh. There's Archangel Avacyn. to prevent this from occurring.
Also very important here that Hovis has to take the point of damage off the Sinister Concoction as well. That goes him from 13 to 12, and now the flipped Avacyn is 2 turns instead of 3.
Big deal.
I feel like Hovis had to take the shot there. Just too efficient for Hoogland's turn, too much pressure, and the 1 point of damage really significant in this spot.
Sacrifice a vessel. Top handful of cards. This game, he just never really got the engine online. I think that's kind of the difference.
He's close. I mean, he gets to put a card in his hand now. He can get back the Haunted Dead.
Yep, that's a blocker.
And that's a chump blocker, and then his prize amalgams are coming back as well.
Uh-huh.
And that could be a route, hypothetically, to Decimator of the Provinces. I don't know. A lot of things have to break the right way, obviously, but not out of the question he could still steal this one.
Yeah, he's not out of this.
I think he got himself into a little bit of trouble last year with the Sinister Concoction, but he's definitely drawing live.
Yeah, maybe you're never the first one to move.
Especially when it's 1 mana against 5.
Yeah.
It constrains Hoogland so much to leave up 5 mana. He basically can't do anything else. And if he ever does anything else, then you take care of the flipped Avacyn, and life goes on, and that's good for you.
I will say this. That Mindbender ain't hanging back.
No. Well,
we ain't winning if we ain't attacking.
the problem is if he attacks here and then gets back the Haunted Dead, I think he's just dead on the table to the creature lands.
All right.
So I think he does have to hang back for 1 turn.
Here come the attackers. Jeff presenting lethal right away. I think Jeff might have Stasis Snare in hand. Yep, Stasis Snare will take care of the token, and that is going to do it. Jeff Hoogland's going to win this match over Ryan Hovis. 2-1. Jeskai Flash will take care of this very unique green-black graveyard deck, and perhaps we might have a little Ryan Hovis in the sideboard, because this, even though it wasn't a win, it was an impressive display.
There is something really powerful going on here.
Yeah.
No way about it. No two ways about it. And game 1, it looked like Hovis was just basically getting waxed end to end in that game, and he still almost had it. Hoogland had to have multiple instances on the last attack to get out of it. Game 2, Hoogland had